Yo dudes!
Welcome.
Welcome to Easy Butternut Squash Pasta Dish.
So this is the perfect dish for students. It's quick, it's simple and easy, it's got pasta and it's full of fruit and veg.
It cost us $4.78. It's going to feed 6 people and it's going to take about 15 minutes to make. Okay, we've got a pot of boiling water, in goes our pasta. We've gone 500 grams of wholemeal penne.
Well, why did we go with wholemeal, Steve?
Because it's got significantly more fibre. Fibre really good for weight loss, for filling you up, for elimination and for immune system.
Can I tell you something about it? Interestingly enough, 90% of people in the Western world do not get enough fibre. Do you know that, Steve?
No, wow, that's amazing.
So a great suggestion is to simply use the brown pasta instead of the white one. Okay,
that was cheesy, sorry. We do apologise.
Anyway.
Okay, down to our sauce. We've got a frying pan that's super hot, even holding like just to show, no, that's gonna be hot. Just to show you how hot it is, a little bit of water. Oh, sizzle, okay. Pan's really hot. I've got one onion that we've diced finely. Sizzling away beautifully.
So you got no oil in the bottom?
No oil, and I have 3 cloves of garlic. In they go. If you are looking to kind of make cheaper food, try to buy veg that's in season, because typically it's more bountiful and it's cheaper. So we bought one butternut squash for very cheap. We peeled it, we cut it in half, and we took the seeds out.
Just to be precise, it was 49 cents for 750 gram. So what we're doing is we're just going to brown our onion and garlic. It's going to take about 3 minutes.
Okay, onions have started to brown nicely. They are actually smelling great. We have our 750 grams of peeled, de-seeded butternut squash. We've chopped into bite-sized chunks. In it goes. Oh, that's quite a lot, isn't it? Okay, we're gonna add in a generous pinch of salt. Okay, time to sweat our squash. Sounds very alliterate.
Sweat our squash.
Okay, we're gonna put the lid on. Dave's kind of distributed the salt lovely across the surface of the squash. Putting the lid on is going to draw the moisture and allow it to evaporate, or steam in its own juices.
So it's almost going to turn it into like a sauna.
Okay, while that's happening, I'm just going to prep our shrooms, also known as mushrooms. Chop into whatever. I'm going to chop them into small bite-sized pieces.
Meanwhile, while my brother is slicing our mushrooms, I'm going to occasionally stir up our butternut squash.
Why are you going to stir it?
Great question, Steve. Well, I'm just going to stop it from sticking to the bottom of the pan. And you know the way in a sauna you kind of want to move around a little bit because you get too hot? Same kind of principle going on here.
We don't want to brown our squash too much. We do want it to brown a little bit. We don't want it to burn.
Yeah, good one. As you're leaving it to steam, there's quite a lot of flavour kind of forms in the bottom of the pan. This is a principle, as my brother calls deglazing.
Well, I don't think it's just me. I think it's many.
Well, no, that's well. I only know that you.
Okay, we've 500 ml of veg stock here. We're just going to add in a little bit of veg stock just to the bottom to help kind of create a bit of moisture.
Like 100 ml, and we're literally just going to deglaze it. So, as in, scrape all the flavour that's stuck to the bottom of the pan. There we go. You just don't want any flavour being stuck to the pan and having to scrape it off later. May as well get it into your dish now. Okay, so a great economical tip is we were in the supermarket today in Super Value and it was €1 for a tin of butter beans, but a tin of baked beans was only 29 cents. So nearly a quarter of the price.
And baked beans are just cannellini beans in a tomato sauce. So
we're just going to drain off the tomato sauce and we've got 2 tins.
And give it a good rinse. And yeah, there will be a little small bit of sugar, but we're going to try to rinse out as much of it as possible. Okay, our squash is starting to soften and it's gone nice and brown. Time to add in our squash and start to develop the rest of our stock. So we had 500 ml of stock altogether. We're going to put the rest in and just slowly start to boil that squash down and impart that nice kind of stock flavour there. We're removing the lid because we want the water to evaporate. Along with our veg stock, we're going to add in 1 tin of chopped tomatoes. We're just going to stir that through it and then we're going to reduce it to medium heat so it's simmering and put the lid back on it. Okay, so we're going to pop a third pan on the heat. Obviously, if you only got 2 at home, just drain this pan here, set it aside and use that pan instead. Or either when the pasta's done. So we're going to just cook our mushrooms. We want them to brown and develop their flavour. So in they go into this pan.
And obviously, once again, we're not using oil, so we're going to brown them and reduce them and add some flavour to them. So our pasta's boiled. I'm just going to drain and rinse it and have it ready to go.
We cooked our mushrooms until the water has evaporated and they're starting to slightly fry. So we're putting in 2 tablespoons of tamari. Mushrooms are a wonderful carrier for that umami flavour. Just their whole earthiness just kind of combines beautifully.
And the tamari really helps them to kind of brown and caramelise and kind of taste fantastic.
Okay, well Dave's just finishing off the mushrooms. I'm going to bring our sauce together. So remove the lid. Let's firstly season it. Let's get a good generous pinch of salt in there. A little bit of black pepper.
Like kind of a quarter of a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, that type of thing.
And let's go, if you like chilli, pop a little in at this point. If you don't, leave it out. I love a little bit, I think it goes great.
So that's just a little bit of chilli flakes, about a quarter teaspoon again.
2 tins of cannellini beans, in they go. Or baked beans, less tomato sauce. Next step, we have some garden peas that are frozen. We're gonna just put in a bit just for colour. And although they're going in frozen, don't worry, they'll just defrost. So just a little bit to give it that pop of colour and that extra little bit of, ooh, boom, ready.
Okay, finally it's bringing the whole dish together. I've knocked my mushrooms off, they're nice and brown, they're smelling fantastic.
Okay,
We've got one big mixing bowl.
in goes our penne.
In goes our sauce and all our veg, all our nutrition. Just make sure and scrape it all out.
And we'll put a little bit of mushrooms in now, and we'll keep a little just for when we plate. Just keep a little bit.
Finally, it's just a matter of mixing it all together. Okay, so that's fantastic. You'll get at least 6 portions. It freezes well. It'll keep for about 2 or 3 days in the fridge. And the thing about brown pasta is that it does freeze well, which is really advantageous, provided you have a freezer in your house.
If you do have any vegan cheese or nutritional yeast, it'll just take it to the whole other level. But there you are, very simple to make. Freezes great, cheap as chips. Well, probably cheaper than chips. £5 for 6 portions. Like that's probably about a kilo of food. So
It's full of nutrition, it's low in calories, it's high in fibre, so ideal for weight loss as well.
Tastes great too.
Yeah.
I'm sure it does.
Oh,
Good job.
sorry, yeah. Oh, thanks, man.
Cheers. Thanks for watching, dudes. Thanks for subscribing, and bye.
Cheers. Let us know if you do make it. Leave a comment, and you can tag us on Instagram as well, @the Happy Pear.
Cheers.
Cheers.